Suman, we lost you.
No, sir, I didn't start yet. I'm starting. Om. 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 Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Offering my humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swami. I welcome you for today's satsang. I think Sridhar has joined at the right time.
Sorry, I was suffering from bad connectivity. My
Okay,
apologies.
no problem. No problem.
Sairam.
So we have been discussing about the chapter of Durvasa in the last. I think if you look at these wonderful stories, if you even look at Bhagavatam, the very first thing that comes, it starts with a great sage narrating the wonderful, those nectarine episodes of the Lord to a thirsty devotee who had only 7 days in life, Parikshith. So Parikshith stands for Shravanam. We always, in the Navavida Bhakti Margas, we always consider, we exemplify Parikshith for Shravanam. So he was relishing those stories. And you remember, finally, when if you look at, after 7 days, when the Takshaka comes and bites, he would just be a witness and he would attain the ultimate. He would attain moksha. Just listening from a perfected human being like a saint, a sage like Shuka can liberate a soul. How fortunate we are to have got the opportunity to study all all these stories, to listen from direct source from Satya Sai's pen. It came from directly from Swami. How fortunate we should be and how responsible we should be in studying these Vahinis. If you look at even the time when Bhagwan penned these Vahinis was from 1958 to 1984. All these Vahinis were they came as articles in Sanatana Sarathi, but later collated into books by Kasturi Garu. If you look at the time, Bhagwan was actually traveling around India, traveling around various parts, and he was physically he had to administration. He has to go through the administration of the ashram, and even he was setting up all the educational institutions. And if you look at even the human angle, he was so much occupied, and still he could find time to pen down this article for us. All these the pearls of wisdom for us. So it is in fact a great fortune for all of us to go through, to listen to these stories. And every time when the same story when we read, we come with different insights. And we'll come to know why different insights come at different point of time. Even last episode, we discussed that the teachings would differ from time to time, depending upon one's spiritual development, spiritual evolution. So if you look at in the previous episode now, we have seen how Krishna saved Draupadi and her husbands from fury, from embarrassment and fury of the great sage Durvasa. just by consuming that little leaf, tiny leaf, and satisfying, satiating the hunger of Durvasa and all his, 10,000 disciples. And with that, there was even a kind of discussion last time that whether one should have anger. Can we use anger for right purpose? As we have discussed, if your intent is right, yeah, there is something called emotional intelligence. We can intelligently use all the emotions. If at all, we need to reach certain thing in a dharmic way, in a more righteous way. So also here, Krishna used the fury, the short temper of the sage Durvasa for a sacred purpose. He turned a curse into a blessing. He just used it because he was known for he was famous. Durvasa was famous. As soon as even if somebody even tells the name of Durvasa also, we just remember anger. Anger comes into our mind first. So he was known for that. He was an epitome of anger. So Swami used that as a tool here to bless the Pandavas. In fact, Duryodhana even sent Durvasa for that reason only. Because he had a short temper, definitely he would be infuriated by lack of food, which definitely these Pandavas would fail in extending hospitality, and he would definitely curse them. But in fact, how Krishna transformed entire thing into a blessing, where the same Durvasa who came blesses the one who is supposed to be cursed, who was sent to be cursed, and he curses them who was who has sent them. So curse goes back to the sender only, to Duryodhana himself. So that's what happens. Everything is God's creation. Every emotion is God's creation. And we have even seen that by just consuming the tiny leaf, Krishna proved that he himself is the indweller of every being. We often, we are in a relentless pursuit of satisfying everyone in this world. Whether it can be a family member or a member at office or a member in the organization, we are breaking our heads and how to please, how to make others happy. But we forget who is the indweller right within in our heart sitting. We forget him. And he is telling, I don't want big things, with pure intent. If you just offer me little thing, a pure thought is enough for me. If your intent is pure, that is how you attract me. So that is enough. You can offer it to me and everything would fall in place. Just like one tiny leaf could satiate the hunger of all the, the retinue of Durvasa. That one little thing, whatever we could offer to Swami, we can offer to Swami that can satiate, that can please the entire world. We should not, we need not break our heads or be in a relentless pursuit of satisfying the world. Let us keep that thought aside. It is impossible to make everyone happy. Just make Swami happy within. That will be taken care of. Everyone would automatically become happy. And even we even had the wonderful insights of Nitya Narayan Seva. Just like a thought level, we can serve every time. Just like we offer whatever we cook daily, whether it is a breakfast or a lunch or dinner, or even water for that matter, whatever we consume, just we offer that little with a pure intent. Swami, I'm offering it to you. So one hungry soul, wherever is automatically, just like Krishna satiated the hunger of all these, some hungry soul with that intent, if you offer, automatically that particular soul would be alleviated from hunger for that, maybe that moment. We never know whom he is going to grace. Even if you look at the thought processes behind our rituals in Sanatana Dharma, whether the rituals we perform to the departed souls, or even rituals we do at auspicious functions like weddings and all, even for the departed souls, we offer, every year we do certain kind of rituals. When the Tithi comes, we go and we give, probably, we offer that Swayam Pakam to the Brahmins and all that we do, right? What is actually the thought process behind that? It is a gratitude that we offer. So it should be in our thought. People just give importance to only that external practices. Okay, I pay money, I'll do something. Okay, he'll do certain procedures, and that's how it will. No, that is not the case, right? Here we is telling that thought here also, just like that pure thing, whatever little we offer to Krishna, just it reached those many people. So also, if your intention is to offer your gratitude to that departed soul through that mantras. So mantras are just vehicles that can only take whatever you send. That is what the purpose of mantras is all about. If you are going to send, they are just a kind of transmitters that is going to, as Swami says, no, let the departed soul be in any loka, doesn't matter. He need not be only on earth. Depending upon his spiritual progress, he would be in any loka. Swami says, as you send money, if at all you need to send money to US, probably the rupees would be converted into dollars, or any other country, it would be converted into that currency. So also, whatever that is, food for that person, or whatever that is happiness for that person in that loka, it would be converted into that form, and it would be reaching that particular departed soul. So this is the same thought process which we apply everywhere. Even they, people invite everyone for wedding. Each and every person invite, and finally they give akshatas to everyone to just bless the couple. What is the thought process behind that? That is also the same, no? Even if you look at, even if one person with pure intent he blesses, that particular relationship would prosper. No, that would that their married life would be blessed, because one person's intent is enough. That's what is thought process. That's why even one person, if at all heartfully he comes, not for some may come for the feast. No, some may come for, okay, my friend is also coming. Let's have a after a long time I'm meeting that guy. Let's meet at the in that. Nowadays, these kind of rituals or all these things have become a kind of rendezvous, a kind of meeting place for all these people. Ultimate intent is different. They come to just enjoy themselves, they marry themselves and go. But that is not the actual purpose. One person, if really feels, okay, yeah, this couple should be happily married, they should have happy. One person have that pure intent, that can save a marriage, that can save a wedding. That is the thought process behind that. So that is why the intent is always important. Our thoughts are important. Thoughts, even if you look at today's, the people may brush it away. What is all this? Your intent, if at all happens, and how is it possible? Even quantum physics also talks about this particle and wave nature. Waves are there. Everything is vibrating in its own way. So also everyone has vibes. The vibes that we give, they say. You can say someone can deceive by his words, but he cannot deceive the energy he exudes, the energy he gives us. Sometimes even without the person speaking, or without even, we feel so wonderful in his presence. And so when some person comes, we feel so low. Probably he would not have any physical interaction with you, or he would not have, just in their presence you feel that. So that is what the energy cannot deceive. The energy is that the vibes that you carry, it cannot deceive anyone. Automatically we feel low, we feel suffocated in somebody's presence. That's what happens here. So those thoughts that we carry, the intents that we carry, is actually cleanse us. So also it is going to help us serve people around, because of the energy that you're exuding, that is going to create a positive impact on others also. So that is why intent should be pure, the heart should be pure. And that is how even Swami has created all these mass chantings of Rudram and all. Why? If all of us chant with pure heart, and that too, these are the beautiful chanting mantras which have the power to create the weapons. So they can annihilate the negativity. They can go to any extent. That's why Swami even, all this is the power of, this is the science behind everything. If you look at our Indian culture, probably if we focus on the practices and the causes behind that, we would end up, everything is scientific. Everything is wonderfully built on science. And one more final thing is, once you're under umbrella of God, under the protection of God, just like Draupadi and Pandavas were always under the protection of wherever they were, whether they were in palace or they were in forest, they were always happy because they were under the protection, ever under eternal protection of the Lord. And nothing can harm us. Whatever conspiracies or whatever the stratagems this Duryodhana could design, he was a failure. Everything was futile. Everything was a fruitless because of he didn't find exactly who is behind that. That is what he was clouded with, no? Because of that ajnana, because of that ignorance, he was clouded with all that. And that's what we have to. Once God is on our side, probably we need not worry about anything else. And we have seen lessons and leelas differ from time to time. The message, the same Krishna, he could have created, we even thought that he could have created lump sum food that would suffice for all the people, for all those 10,000. He didn't do that miracle. Can't he do that? He can do. Just like he gave unending sari, unending clothing to Draupadi to save her dignity, can't he create enormous amount of food? He can do that. But he didn't do that. He just consumed a little leaf. So every time lessons would be different, leelas would be different, messages that he wants to convey would be different. So even many times we see one discourse if you take of Swami, or even take just this Vahini only. Today, maybe, we are talking about these insights from this story. Probably 10 years ago, we would have discussed maybe different things. Maybe 10 years later, the same story, we would be discussing something different. So it all depends upon, our spiritual progress is one thing. What are our requirements also? We look at in that angle. What is exactly, I want now in my life? What I am lacking in my life? What are the lapses or shortcomings? So accordingly, Bhagwan would serve you. So that is why lessons are different every time. That's why we should keep on reading. That's the same Ramayana when we had heard in childhood, that gives a different message. That was a delighting some way. If you read now, the same thing, it would give a totally different insights to us. Same Ramayana, same stories. So like the same Bhagavatam, same chapter you read, maybe after a few years, probably it would be the kind of insights or the inspiration that it would give would be different. So it is like personalized in the Swami's thing. As Dr. V.K. Gokar, the first vice chancellor of Satsang, university, he always he coined a term called omnifelicity. Just like omnipresence, omnipotence, and omniscience we have, right? As to describe Swami, he even created one special term called omnifelicity. So he was inspired when Swami used to bless with his hands. So everyone who used to receive those those blessings to the namaskar. So everyone who used to feel like this is only for me. So personalized blessings personally. In the same way, Swami says that through his writings also, he would inspire each and everyone differently. That's why we should come, even when we're attending Vahinis or anything of Swami's writings, even to have one reading and come, because the kind of insights that you get may be different, depending upon your probably the kind of requirements, what you want in life, or whatever inspiration that Swami wants to inspire you in that life, the insights would be different. That's why, these kind of stories have to be read again and again. And when we come, we should come with a lot of, wonderful learnings and insights. Because that is what Swami is going to inspire each and every one of us indifferently. If we listen to only one, probably we would only listen from that particular aspect or from that particular angle. But if you read ourselves, we ourselves start reading it, probably the kind of wisdom that dawns upon us is different. So now today, let's go to today's chapter. Arjuna's fight with gods. So if we look at the Pandavas were happy in the forest, but there is something dharma. They have their Kshatriya dharma. So even Vyasa would say, just a slip of tongue, he would say that for the sake of Krishna, they sacrificed everything. In fact, from our angle, if you look at Pandavas sacrificed everything for Krishna. Pandavas renounced everything for Krishna, we may say. But no, sacrifice is something when you forgo something bigger for something smaller. But they have renounced everything. They have sacrificed everything for Krishna, which is ultimate. So probably they were the most intelligent, propitiates. They were not they didn't do actually sacrifice. They were the actual jnanis. The actual jnanis would know, whatever that we feel that, oh, how could he give? He gave everything to Swami, it seems. He gave the entire land, the white field, they gave everything to Swami. Whatever he had, everything he gave to. So we feel that poor guy, he just renounced everything, he sacrificed everything. But if we know from their jnana, if you understand from their wisdom, they were not actually doing sacrifice, they were doing some very intelligent profiteering. So that's what, when he just mentions this topic of Pasupatha-astra, how Arjuna even fought with Shiva. That's when it instills curiosity in Parikshith, and he starts, please narrate this story. He would say, narrating the stories, Vyasa would say, but narrating stories of Krishna is not is an unending thing. Even days, months, years would not be sufficient. Because if you look at, both are enjoying. One is doing Shravanam, he's just drinking that nectarine stories through his ears, and one is doing Kirtanam. And both are wonderful sadhanas. And if you look at people in collective sadhana, when one would inspire the other. That's what probably here it is, that is what going on. When the wonderful stories are being taught, the curiosity is being instilled. And when the curiosity is being instilled, he is provoked to tell many other stories. So Vyasa, who actually, if we just go back and see a few chapters earlier, he just came for a while to just bless and go. And now just because of earnestness and the devotion of Parikshith, he was made to sit, and now one after the other, story after the story, he just he's just relishing, narrating it, and Parikshith was relishing listening to that. So that's what happens in our when we have collective sadhanas. One would inspire the other. We ourselves inspire one another when we do sadhanas differently. So even if somebody is singing bhajan and I'm listening, the earnestness of a listener can inspire the singer to sing more with more devotion. Like that, this is all I wonder. That's what is happening between Vyasa and Parikshith. So that's when he started narrating. See, one day Dharmaraja developed, was haunted by a thought that what is the use? I mean, he felt that wicked Kauravas, his own cousins, might not allow him to be at peace even after his exile is finished, even after this incognito, even that 1 year, everything is finished. Do you think it would be a cakewalk? It would not be so, because they're up to something. They would try their best to hand over our share of kingdom. And he thought that definitely the war was inevitable. Nothing, no doubt about it. Even he thought the great warriors, the great the ace archers like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Ashwathama, everyone would be on the side of Kauravas. And how can we, Pandavas, face the galaxy of that strength, that immense strength, that gigantic power? How can we face it? So he was haunted by this thought. That's when Arjuna consoles him, don't worry. He seeks his blessings and he sets out that through penance, through his power of asceticism, he wanted to win the grace of God, all those gods, so that he can gain those weapons, the celestial weapons, so that they can have the edge over their opponents. Their opponents seem to be very strong, because all the greatest warriors, all the powerful archers were seen on the Kaurava side themselves. Even we can get it out that, see, they have the umbrella of protection of God. Why should they really worry? Actually, they are not worried. They have surrendered to Krishna, but we have something called duty. We have something called karma to do in this life, right? So action is something we have to do. But the fruit of action should be left to God. In every state, we should not. Here, that's what Pandavas never left. Even in exile, they didn't have a holiday. Okay, exile is there. After 12 years, it's our duty starts. That's why they didn't have holiday. They were happy because they were centered on Krishna. Their thoughts were centered on Krishna. But they never left any duty. They helped the people around the nearby villages No, and all, and this was the time they perfectly utilized for the thing, for the impending war. In fact, Krishna was creating situations like that so that they are gaining in every aspect, whether in blessings, they gain. There's Durvasa, no blessings of a. We even told one pure thought from a pure devotee has that power to save a marriage. You can understand they have got blessings of Durvasa, a great saint who was supposed to be Amsha of Shiva. So what blessings they would have added up to their account. So those are also added. Over that, Krishna is creating every other opportunity. So we often feel sometimes, no, why Swami created this to me? Why is this happening in my life? No, but everything happens if we look at later, no, when we connect the dots, that's when we understand that everything is happening for a reason and it is happening for a good. All these were like everything is grace only, but packaged differently. No, it may be painful to us, but it's a grace which has been differently packaged. That's what everything is, grace only, having a different packet. It's packaged differently. So also, if you look at that, that is what they surrendered to Krishna. That means they renounced the fruits of their actions, but they didn't surrender. They were more involved actually. No, they were doing everything with more, duty mindedness, and they were there's a lot of penance, asceticism, and all that. Even today, if you look at, no, for these missiles, the celestial weapons, the astras and shastras, which they were in pursuit of. Now, voice activated missiles, they say. Now, these astras are called voice activated missiles. We chant the mantra and we leave that arrow, and that would have certain effect. So, Brahmastra. So, Brahma mantra would be there chanted, and that would be Brahmastra. Vishnu's astra. So, this is like Pasupatha-astra. Pashupati is Shiva. So, for that purpose, his main intention was to gain that Pasupatha-astra. So these are voice activated missiles. So people can again brush it off. What science is behind this? Who will believe all these stories? It's a mythology, it's not history. How can we be behind? So today, even if we look at in a primitive way, we are also ordering. We are also just if you look at some mysterious lady would guide us to a location today. We don't know who she is. No, and even we call, even we need to watch any program in TV also. So we are calling a lady called Alexa. No, she follows our commands. Alexa, please show this. Alexa, please show that. Anything at our this thing. And even self-driving cars have come today. You just sit and go, you just order the car and it will take you to the destination. Probably, as Swami says, technology is technology. Anytime it can. So our destination can even change also. So that all, again, his grace should be there. So if you look at these are very, very primitive things, no, this was the science. This is a science only, right? Whatever that we are looking at, these are applications of science only. So in fact, if at all we look at the same, we are actually rediscovering things. All the things were there well before. The other day, somebody was explaining about Vimana, all that aeroplanes and all that existed that time. All the science behind that, somebody was explaining in one documentary. So that's what everything was there. Everything was behind. All things were there. Whether you see biology today, whatever the new things everything was there in Mahabharata. Surrogacy we talk about, there is there. Everything, even what kind of, we call it to be more advanced. It's everything was there in these epics. When we just probably focus it on, we'll come to know. So there was a time when all these Pandavas would gang up on their elder brother, because their elder brother always stood for dharma. And because of that dharma only, they were actually, they had to hold back themselves because of this elder brother's dharma. So one day they would burst out. They would start a sort of cursing, or they would even try to, what do you say, make Dharmaja responsible for their current situation. Because of your dharma, what dharma did? What did we gain from dharma? So once Brother Arvind Balasubramania was describing an episode of his Satsang, where they were enacting this drama, the Pandavas in the forest and all, and they were actually enacting this particular scene. And Swami himself wrote dialogues for this, and Swami himself wrote poems for each and every brother, like Dharmaraja, and those poems have need to be narrated, or they would have to be sung by brother Ravi Kumar, where Bhagwan was directing him. When for Bhima, when you need to sing, you need to have this kind of tone, because Bhima is hefty and his attitude is different. And when you sing for Nakula, you should soften your voice, because they are more servile. They are more docile and servile kind of people. So you need to have change your tone like that. So Swami was giving each and every small instruction and all that. So each and every, even Draupadi had her own poems and all. So in the conversation, so they thought that in 10 minutes, it took like 58 minutes, he would say, the entire scene, small scene, where all these would gang up against their brother, and he would be silent. Within inside, he knows that, yeah, he stood for Dharma, what he did is right, but somewhere he has to give answer to all these brothers. That's when Swami says that Krishna comes there and he gives something. He writes on a leaf and gives something to Dharmaja. And that's when he opens, he'll understand that there'll be written that this too shall pass, would be written. So like that, Swami said that they were even planning. So what Krishna would come and write on a leaf, what would be the pen? Like, probably somebody thought, okay, he can just break a twig from a tree. He pull out a twig and probably he can write it. Somebody even said, okay, let him pull out some ornament, something from on his body, and probably make it a pen and write. Everyone was giving, a brainstorming was going on. For Swami was also part of it. And Swami said, no, it won't be so apt for that and all. So Swami created a golden stylus. Stylus which looked, nowadays we used to write, on the mobiles and all that. Those stylus. So Swami created a golden pen kind of stylus kind of. Hey, and he instructed the person who was actually enacting Krishna, you just keep it in your, on the ear. So whenever the right time comes, you just pull out and you write it, as if you're writing it, and you hand over the leaf to Dharmaja. And Swami, specially instructed, hey, don't forget to give my pen back. So that stylus he created after the drama, you need to give it back to me. So Swami, narrated such a wonderful, small things, how he would, take care of in a drama and all. So that's when, he tells this too shall pass. That is the thing. So because all the things, whether it is good or bad in our life, we should not, fall into that. This is going to be permanent thing. Whether it's good thing also, even our successes are not permanent, even our failures are not permanent. Everything is only permanent thing is he alone. As we told you, he alone is there always as a friend. Other people, many other actors keep changing. Our co-stars will be keep changing. But the director is same. Whatever movie we are going to enact, maybe in this body we're acting, our co-stars are co-actors are different. Maybe some other co-actors will be there in the next movie, but director is same. So let us have more connect with that. Only one friend is director, because he's going to be there forever. So rest is all, we need not a passing cloud. Everything is a passing cloud. That's what this too shall pass. And that's when Swami instructed, narrated, you need to tell to 4 brothers the same thing. This too shall pass. So Swami added a nice way. First you emphasize on this for first brother. Then you emphasize on 2. Then you emphasize on shall, and then you emphasize on pass. Like that Swami gave, for there are 4 other brothers. So for Bhima, you need to tell this too shall pass. So that's how the emphasis on this. Then Swami instructed when you tell to Arjuna, you should tell this too shall pass. You have to tell like that. And like that it went, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. So like that, he was emphasizing all, and all the 4 brothers were given the same message, but emphasizing more on the different words in the sentence, so that it would convey different meaning. Because intonation, when changes, the meaning of that particular thing changes, maybe for, suiting for that particular thing. So this is how Swami, would be part of every small thing. I just got reminded of it when we were discussing about this kind of thing. So if you look at Pandavas and Kauravas, why were Pandavas so dear to Krishna, and why Kauravas were, it was something because their relationship, because Kunti was a blood relation, because they were own cousins. Is it because of that? For that matter, Shishupala is also one cousin, but why he could not become dear to Krishna? Of course, in one way or the other, everyone is dear to him. Everyone, he doesn't hate anyone. He loves everyone. But here, Pandavas fostered goodness. It's not that they were also perfect. Dharmaraja was also not perfect when he had that, he also fell for that vice called gambling. No, that was that point of time. He also had that weakness, right? And he also had many kind of anomalies or any sort of shortcomings inside. That's why even they say Krishna had to create all this drama so that they have to undergo this exile because for the transformation that is required. Because when he bets all his brothers in that gambling, first he would bet his sons of Madri, Nakula and Sahadeva. He would not bet Arjuna and Bhima because he used to consider them as stepbrothers only, no brothers from different mother. Somehow not my own brothers. He had that feeling. Where that is not right. No, when you are under the scanner, Krishna's thing, everything should be perfect. When we are offering to Swami, you should offer perfectly. He would remove all the shortcomings. Till you become perfect offering to him, then he'll call for merging. So before merging in him, he has to remove all the impurities in us, all the things in us. So also he had to. So if you look at, even I told in the last, Satsang that it's just one quality of these people. Like if you see Ravana, one bad quality he had of desire, lust, and that perished him. That totally led to his downfall. So also Duryodhana had one quality of this envy, greed and envy for Pandavas. Somehow I need to, and that actually annihilated him. He said, just Swami, at the end of the discourse, he would say, see, one quality, only one quality. They were not bad in others. Actually, he had only Duryodhana was never had any lust. He never looked at other women with any with bad looks. He never had that. So they had only one bad quality, and that actually led to their downfall. Imagine your fate. You have all the six. Swami even says, you have all the six. We often, look at those characters with contempt. Oh, Duryodhana, he finally perished. I would not do that. Oh, Ravana, no, that would not happen to me. No, that is not the case. Here, even every character, because the dominant character became a vice or a negative trait, they perished. So they are also actors in his cosmic drama. But they were the dominant qualities. But that defined them. That's what we start looking those characters. No one names after them, right? No one names their children after them. No one names their children after Ravana, after Duryodhana. Because they could have been good habits. There were actually good habits, but they were shadowed. They were covered totally because of this one vice. So instead of labeling somebody or looking any character with contempt, probably we just look at ourselves and try to see what are these qualities, because Duryodhana and Ravana are no more characters. They are qualities within us now. So we need to look at for those qualities and we should try to weed out. That is what is our main intention should be. Not looking somebody at any character with contempt, any character with hate. Yesteryear actor NTR used to say he was blessed to enact different roles. He enacted as Krishna, he enacted as Karna, he enacted as Duryodhana, Bhima, he enacted as Ravanasura. So even he did all negative characters and positive characters. And they were, those yesteryear actors had a different discipline. They had a different dedication towards work. He used to get up early in the morning, 3 o'clock, and 4 o'clock he used to be on sets. So all other co-actors, it's very tough to work with NTR. 4 o'clock, everyone should be on the sets. So he used to say, because whenever he enacted these characters, Duryodhana or Ravanasura, he said he actually developed compassion towards them. Because there were many good qualities in them. Because of one bad quality, all those were not, no one knows today what are the good qualities they had. No, they were actually, so there were some kind of good qualities probably would not have been seen in the good characters we portray as Pandavas today. So he says that I felt that compassion for those characters because the one bad trait has defined them completely. And all those good characters, whatever the virtues they had, it was shadowed. It was completely masked in that negativity. And they just play. That's why we need to see everyone just playing a role in his cosmic drama. And only we need to look at us is ourselves. Let us not look at any character, anybody. No, we consider them to be so. But when we are in the situation, we'll know probably how worse we would be, how we would act. So Dharmaraja fostered goodness. That's why he could get the nearness of Krishna. He could gain the proximity of Krishna. Duryodhana could not foster that goodness out of his misfortune. That's why Krishna was away from him. That's the only thing. That's how. If you are going to foster good qualities in us, the purity in us, automatically we are going to draw his grace. If you are going to foster negativity, if you are going to be on side of Duryodhana, if you are going to be on side of Ravana, definitely we are keeping him away. So only thing we need to observe ourselves with him. So that's when, coming back to the story, Arjuna goes because he is in pursuit of gaining those celestial weapons from gods. So he goes to a particular place where Swami mentions as Gandhamadana. So when we Google Gandhamadana, different geographical areas it would show. So one is in Sri Lanka, where they say that it's the actual place where Hanuman landed for the first time in Lanka, when he landed for the first time. And they even say that when Gandhamadana is in Orissa area also. And some say it's a mountain where even now Hanuman still stays. And there is some other area which is, ahead of Kailash or behind Kailash, which currently comes under Tibet. So even here, Swami writes that it is something which is not so accessible to everyone. Only the great people can access it. So because of his ascetic power, which he had gained with the kind of life Arjuna was leading, the kind of life all the Pandavas were leading, they could gain some powers, and that's how it gave access. A sort of, you have the access to the lounge in airports, like that he had access card because of his power that he had gained for tapas practices, and he could get chance to go and meditate, go and do penance there. So if you look at Gandhamadana, if you look, Gandha is fragrance. Madana is something which is captivating or which is intoxicating you. So intoxicating fragrance, something that area, if you consider like that. Yeah, we'll see one more insight is also there based on this. We'll discuss it later. So he went there and he started doing penance. That's where first Indra would appear. And Indra says that, yes, whatever that you wanted, I can give, but you need to gain permission of Shiva. So then I can go and give whatever the weapons that he would order me to give, and I can take you to heaven. And so normally, even in this also, there is a small insight. As Swami always says, no, you should always pine for my anugraha. If that is there, no graha can do anything to you. So we often, most of the people often know, if anything, something not going well in their life. Even Bhagwan was also like the other day in one of the good night quotes, if you observe, that most of these kind of astrologers and all, they would create certain doshas or they would create certain anomalies in your horoscope, and they would show, and that this particular puja, you need to pay this much and you need to do this kind of dana. If you do this, everything would be fine. Swami says just by money you can ward off all that. If any such such kind of anomalies are there, really such faults are there in our horoscope, can be just given money to some particular astrologer. Nowadays, astrologers are also not genuine. Earlier, at least, olden days, at least trustable were there. But nowadays, it is very tough to find one. So just by, can you ward off? Can we just stop the effect of that evil if at all it is really there in your life? Swami says, no, the real thing is to win my grace. So that's for transformation. Only way we can win his grace is transformation. Looking into ourselves and developing that purity and trying to, foster that purity within. That is the only way. There's no other way. So also here, let us not try to pacify or try to lure these clerks and head clerks and all that. Let us go to the chairman only. Why we want all these small people? Let us not get into all this. That's why Indra also is telling you, just get permission from the head office. Then I am going to give you everything. Just by making my happy. Clerk is happy, what is going to happen? Maximum the file will move from the next to the table. That's it. Nothing is major going to happen. If something major, something miraculous you want to observe in your life, just follow. Swami says, follow the three departments. You need to be perfect. Sadhana, love, and service. These three, if you are able to These are my personal departments, he would say. No, he told Nanjundai Garu that these are my 3 personal departments: love, service, and sadhana. So when we show that intensity, that earnestness, that yearning for him, and he also is not so easy, no? Swami says, I can't give easily. I'll check each and everything. So when you finally come to no, my standards, or at least certain standards you meet, then only I can grace you. Otherwise, what? How can I grace you? As Anil Kumar sir telling, it's only Bhagwan's compassion that we are, no, all of us are able to step into Prashant Nilayam. Probably would have set some protocols, or you would have set some particular kind of code of conduct within. No, if you are perfectly within, had he to judge us and allow us to no, on those parameters to Prashant Nilayam, he would say entire Prashant Nilayam would be empty. Entire ashram would be empty. No one can enter because none of us are so perfect. None of us are perfect. So everyone has their own shortcomings, but still his compassion, his immense compassion is he is allowing us to. Otherwise, he wants that all small things. And every time that's what he graces us so that we find these faults in us. Sometimes we don't even find. Sometimes we don't even know that this kind of shortcoming is there. This kind of ego is there in me. We don't know. Somewhere he has to create a situation, just like he created situations in the life of Pandavas, ultimately transformed them, ultimately made them perfected human beings. And that's when they were able to win the war. So everything was well crafted, well designed. So that's what he gives, and that's when Arjuna starts meditating upon Shiva for that Pasupatha-astra. That's when he faces suddenly a wild boar would be coming towards him. Normally, one who is who undertakes penance, who undertakes this, especially for the pursuit of the higher things, we should not harm anybody. So he is not supposed to harm any being, especially. But as a self-defense, because it was coming furiously towards him, as a part of self-defense, he would not shoot, but he would just pick up his bow and arrow so that he would be ready to shoot it anytime it can come over. But later he finds out that this particular boar was being chased by a tribal man, a hunter. Not only he was alone, he even finds his wife with him. How come in this forest? First of all, getting access to this forest is only tough. Who are these people staying here? This fiercely looking man and a lady also. And again, he finds he's not, those two are not alone. They were even being accompanied by a big horde, a big, retinue, a large retinue. There were no women and men, both were there in that crowd, in that group, and they were making some weird noises. So he was a little perturbed. Who are all these people? And he was ready to shoot at this boar. That's when Bhil, Bhil is a tribe, even exists till today in those forest areas, who actually they consume these wild animals. They only use these arrows and bows and all this stuff, and they consume these as meat. So that's when this bill, actually Swami says, no, this is a well-crafted plan, again a test by Shiva. Shiva, can he give so easily all those things what we want? He only needs the perfection. Perfection need not be from external level. Perfection he always wants the internal, because spirituality is all about within, nothing. However talented you may be outside, if you're not pure inside, we will never be able to gain the his grace. So whatever the talent is there with us, we should use it to become pure. My singing ability, I should make myself such a way that I should become pure from within. That should help me. That is how Swami once told, somebody told talents are gifts of God. Swami said, no, talent is God. Talent is not gift. Talent is God himself within you. So use that, hone that skill so that finally you will come to know that oneness between you and me. Any talent for that matter is God. We should utilize it such a way so that it takes us towards divinity. Not that we identify with it, we boast and we develop ego because of our talents. That is what Bhagavan says. But most of us, we fall into the trap, after gaining limelight, the ego develops. Many of us, even we try to blame others. See, after gaining those many fans, he couldn't see the world. He's on 30,000 feet up in the air. It's so easy to comment on others. Probably when we go into his position, we will understand what kind of maya is around us. We would be even behaving worse to that. So here Arjuna was also considering this Bhil as some kind of worthless person, because this person was instigating. Who are you? How could you come in here? How dare you just try to shoot my boar? It is my prey. How dare? That's when it instills, this guy, this worthless fellow, this hunter, this uneducated fellow. So he doesn't even know me, my worth. He's talking like that. And that sort of, hurts his ego terribly. Who is this person? And that would actually instigate him to shoot the boar. The same time, even the Bhil, the tribe, that huntsman, also strikes an arrow at the boar. So both the arrows would strike the boar, and boar is killed. And that's when the Bhil starts. It's my prey. You don't know the protocols, the rules of the forest. If someone is already targeted as his prey, you should not shoot at that. And he would try. Then that's when even Arjuna says, "You don't know me." All that. And he says, "I don't know. I don't care who you are. Even all 33 crores of devatas would come and fight against you. I'm still strong, and I'm by kind of confidence and kind of words that he would even Arjuna feels that he softens his voice again. See, okay, fine, but I didn't shoot arrow at the boar just for food. Because as self-defense I did." But he would not listen. The Bhil would not listen. He would still instigate him. "No, this is not the thing you are going to do. You need to tell me. You need to apologize me." That's how it goes. That's why who is going to apologize you? A worthless guy. You don't know me. How can I do? How do you ever even imagine to do that? That's he shoots arrow at the Bhil, that hunter. That's when Swami says, "No, it was like a thorn to the rock." If a thorn is pricking a rock, would there be any kind of effect on the rock? No. In the same way, that arrow didn't have any effect on the Bhil, didn't have any effect on that hunter. That's when one after the other, Arjuna was removing his arrows and he was throwing at the hunter. Finally, he would be exhausted with arrows and he was tired now. And his fury was not suppressed. He just pounces upon the Bhil, and there would be a kind of wrestling between the both of them. They would wrestle with each other. And nothing is affecting this particular Bhil, the strong man, Bhil, the tribesman. And ultimately, he would fight, he would lose, and he would realize at one point of time, definitely this person, I'm no match for this person. He's some great personality. Sometimes finally he'll come to a point where, "Krishna, why did you humiliate me like this? Or did you only come as this hunter to teach me a lesson?" So sometimes, yes, we just like all of us, we also, here also let us not label Arjuna like Arjuna had got ego. So anytime we also can get right. Sometimes even somebody asks, even my security guard who says, really, somebody one day by mistake he asks, "Sir, which are you the visitor?" I also get irked. Now I also have that little ego. "You don't know I'm the owner of so and so flat in this, and you don't know me." Even if he's doing his duty, but that little ego. That's what we also have our own ways, that ego within us. It's easy to label somebody, it is easy to comment on somebody, but no. Again, Swami says, no, don't. You should not judge anyone, because everyone has their own journey which you don't know. Only you try to look for yourself. So let us not label. Just like labeling Duryodhana is also wrong, labeling Ravana is also wrong. Labeling here Arjuna is also wrong. So there are many virtues Arjuna had. Arjuna's surrender, faith and all. We are nowhere equal. No, in this also again I'm reminded of brother Arvind Balasubramanya. Once he used to say, Bhagavan always used to tell that story. When Krishna used to show a dove to Arjuna, say, "See, is it dove?" Arjuna would say, "Yes, yes, Krishna, it is dove." Then he would say, "No, no, it is not dove, it is crow." Then Arjuna would say, "Yeah, it is crow. It is crow." "No, no, it is not crow, it is peacock." "Yes, it is peacock." Then "No, it's pigeon." Like that, he would change. And every time he says yes. Then he would say, why every time you are telling yes to mine? See, you can transform it anytime. So whatever you say, it is truth. It's not that you tell truth. Whatever you say becomes truth. So then that's what he surrenders. That's what his faith and surrender in Krishna. So Arvind was thinking, no, every time, oh, he's not so great about what's so great about Arjuna. What's so great about his surrender and all? If Swami even says that this is so and so, we are also ready to accept. Why would we, we will blindly, why would you argue with Swami? Definitely not, because we have that surrender of Swami. Swami, whatever says is the truth. He thought so. He thought so that he is also equal to Arjuna. And he said during trice sessions, especially when Swami used to narrate certain episodes, or he used to have some conversations with students in close quarters in Trai Vrindavan. So once Bhagavan was narrating the same story. So he was also, he used to always make notes of whatever Swami used to say. And whenever some story comes, he used to just mention the story. If it's a known story, he would just give a short 1 or 2 lines about it and he leave it there. So that he can see at Swami. Otherwise, he would be making notes. He cannot look at Swami. Just to look at Swami, he used to do this. So he was making notes of everything what Swami told. And when the story came, he just left and he was looking at Swami. So Swami was telling the same story, the dove, crow. And finally, Swami says, see, he changed. See, this is lion. Suddenly, Arvind was, what, Swami? Is lion. How can lion fly? He was trying to apply his logic. How can lion fly? No. Maybe it's a slip of tongue, Swami. So Swami said, no, it's horse. So Swami changed a different version of story. No, it's horse, it's lion, it's elephant and all. Then he said, no, Swami. How can you say that lion and horse and elephant, how can they fly and all that? So he just within inside, he was not ready to accept. Swami's words only. He was not ready to accept. Later, he, as a retrospect, he says that, see, I used to boast that whatever Swami says, we used to accept like Arjuna, and Arjuna could write, see there, and I'm not seeing also, and still I'm not able to accept what Swami said as true. He can do anything, right? Can't he make lion fly? Can't he make elephant fly? He can do anything. He can do anything. Krishna can do anything. Sai Krishna can do. So, but our logic, our ego, again, our intellect, our intelligence. How can it? How can Swami say that? And similar example, one more. He told that once he was showing a photograph to Swami. It was a sunlight, a wonderful sunlight, and Swami's residence was there. And under that sunlight, Swami's residence was silhouetted, like an outline, like a dark. It was completely black, dark, and there was an orange light behind. That is the sunlight. That was his intention. That's what he tried to use his Photoshop skills, and he tried to show. So Swami was looking at, say, nice moon. Swami said. Then he started arguing, no, Swami, it is not moon, it is sun. No, it is like a bright sun, daylight, and it is sun. No, Swami said, no, it is, house is so dark, no, so it is night, so it is moon. So Swami was telling moon. So he said, no, Swami, no. And finally, Swami had to say, okay, whatever you say. The Swami only gave up, okay, you say whatever you say. He says, I know Photoshop, I know my intention, I know what I've done. Still, we are not going to give up. No, we are going to believe, we are going to so attach to our own skills, our own talents and all that. And we are not focusing on the actual aspect. So this is what, we always talk volumes about constant integrated awareness. But are we aware like that? Do we have surrender like Arjuna now? When we question, definitely not. Definitely not. It's telling, no, that kind of thing. Later he says, Brahmanda Nayaka Baba, we sing, Chandar Suraj Tumne Banaye. We say, just a lip sync. We don't believe it. He only created the sun and moon. We are singing, we are adoring him like that. And today, when it comes to the argument, we are arguing with him. We are not in agreement with him. So he even laughed at his own foolishness, at his own. We talk about many things, but ultimately when it comes to practice, small things will show us how, there are many times we falter. Probably Pandavas would have faltered, some maybe 10 times in their entire life. Probably we will falter 20 times in a day only. So we cannot compare at all with those personalities. The similar example when the schoolboys, Swami always used to kind of adore a particular kid, whomever Swami. He used to ask whenever Swami used to ask him, where are you from? He would say, I'm from you, Swami. I'm from you, Swami. So Swami used to celebrate that. No, see this boy, he always says, see what is his answer? So he used to tell all VIPs and all. So once one college guy or a school boy was thinking, what is so great in same thing like Arvind thought, what is so great in that? No, can't I say I'm from you, Swami? No, that boy is also telling the same. Can't I say I'm from you? I'm from you. What is so great in that? So luckily, or as a opportunity he got, within 48 hours, Swami, questioned him or asked him the same. Where are you from? Within the 48 hours after he said to his, other student, his friend, can't I say that? What is so great in that? Why is he so celebrating like that? Then he said, where are you from? Every time he said, I am from so and so place, Swami. Swami asked thrice. Thrice he told the same. He said, that's what we say, constant integrated awareness. No, we are not. Are we not following? 3 times he asked, but 3 times I failed. 3 times he just only told the place where he comes from, where he hails from. That is what happens to us. We need to, again, look, we talk about in the real sense of constant integrated awareness, constant this awareness. So Arjuna also had, he lost that awareness a bit of time. And finally, when he realized, Krishna, it is you. So it's all, everything, whatever you have, it is you. Without you, nothing is there. That is when I immediately, the Shiva and Parvati, this Bhil and his wife and all that, they are Pramada Ganas, all the Bhuta Ganas, they would come back to their original form and they would bless him with the Pasupatha-astra. You have won in your, what is winning here? Actually losing. What is winning here? Losing. When you find out your inner enemy, you find out your fault within, that is winning here. In spirituality, winning is that. When you are able to find out that vice in you, when you are trying to weed it out, that is how you are the winner. So here, losing side is the winning side. In spirituality, that is what we need to understand. When you lose certain thing, you are winning. When we lose ego, we are winning. We are becoming closer to God. So this is all a divine plan. No, when he coming to the forest, he finding boar and all that and fighting. Finally, till he loses that ego, till finally he gives up his identity. I am nobody. Earlier, I am Dhananjaya. I am so ace archer. How can he comment me like that? He's a poor fellow. So we also many times when we consider somebody as worthless, we even judge people. Oh, what is this guy? Some uneducated. Swami can come in any form, right? That is what we chant Rudram. Many, many names we give. We call him cheat, we call him robber. Many names, if we look at the Anuvakas in Rudram, if you observe, what does it mean actually? That means he is the one, he is in all the forms. He is the one behind all of the forms. When we find that oneness, because of our ego, we cannot find. As long as we don't develop that purity with our this thing, we can never find. We are shadowed. We are being clouded by our ego, that ignorance. We can never see the truth. But once that thing cleanses off, once he removed, when he found out, oh Krishna, it is your play. Probably you only have come. Then he understood the truth. Everything became so clear, crystal clear to him. Like that, Swami came in many forms, right? Even to the devotees. He came in the form of a dog to one devotee's place. He came as a kind of laborer. He came as a beggar. No, they were brushed away. They were actually insulted and sent away by those so-called devotees. Swami said, I came to your home. That day you just insulted me away. No, you didn't even serve me food. You called me for dinner or you called me for lunch and you insulted me. Swami said, when did you come? So I came as a beggar, no? So that's how, that's why Hanuman, every time, whenever he always wanted to, I am Dasa of Rama. He never, if you look at Hanuman, if you look at his, as somebody say, if any virtue take him, he's superlative. That is why he flies so high, because he is so humble. One can so fly high because we are grounded. He was grounded. He can fit in any form of bhakti if you take. He's a great singer. Swami many times told, whenever these students used to sing some wrongs, in some bhajans and all, hey, Hanuman will not leave you. He'll bang you with his tail. Sing properly. So Hanuman is a very perfect singer. He was a great musician. Many, many things are there. If you take any virtue, he's a superlative. So Hanuman, but he always wanted to be addressed as Dasa of Ram. That's why Dasya Bhakti, we exemplify Hanuman for Dasya Bhakti, not anything else. Otherwise, he can fit in everything. But for Dasya Bhakti, he fits in most because he wanted to be. He always wanted to be reminded as I am his, all the power behind me. And we know the most powerful God, we chant only him, Hanuman Chalisa. You can, to ward off all evils or negative forces around you, you take his name only. Because he is so grounded, the Dasa of Rama. So that is the true constant integrated awareness we will talk about. So like that, if you look at today's episode, also inspired us in many ways. Do our duty. If you look at the thing, we need to continue to do our duty, surrender the fruits of our duty, fruits of our actions to God, and do whatever Pandavas, they didn't have any holiday or they didn't have a gala time in forest. They utilized the time, and Krishna created situations like that so that they can utilize this time for the impending war that is coming. And just like his Gandhamadana, intoxicated fragrance, I was telling an insight here, just like the world is also intoxicating us with its so-called colorful things and the fragrances. So we also get intoxicated here, just like Arjuna got intoxicated. So we also got intoxicated with the Maya around us in the world. But ultimately, when we finally, with all our sadhana, focusing on all our things and pulling out all the negative traits in us, then we can ultimately find the truth, just like Arjuna realized the truth finally. And once we realize the truth, what else? It will be shower of grace, just like the weapon was showered on him and the divine grace was showered on him. That will shower, grace will be showered on us. So with this, I close my talk today. So my presentation of insights is over. So now the session is open for your side of insights. What are the insights or particular observations that you have seen in this chapter? Let us discuss on that. Saira, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Every time I get this opportunity to contemplate on these stories, it's a great fortune for me. Keeps on giving different insights every time, and I'm just enjoying whatever that I'm doing. So it is not a selfless endeavor at all. It is most selfish endeavor because I wanted to tell myself I want to enjoy these stories for myself. So you enjoying it is incidental. That's it. Saira. Any insights or thoughts or any observations or any questions anywhere if I'm not clear somewhere or something? Amarnath sir, Sridhar sir.
So, Suman, this is again a beautiful presentation. You see, this point what you made, this I always wondered, you see, for example, when we are reading these Vahinis also, Swami keeps repeating the same concepts again, and again.
Yes.
And I find that each time I read it, I get a different insight.
Yes.
This something, what you say is something, you are absolutely on the dot, I enjoy, it may be the same thing, it's the same concept, same going about, even for this matter, this same story we had discussed. But this time, I get a different perspective altogether. This is something Swami, we think Swami, why is he going on repeating the same concept? But I tell you, each time we get a different and beautiful insights. No, you
Yes,
are talking about duty, Suman. So I wanted to share something about duty, and that's you are talking about the duty of Arjuna and all that. See,
yes.
I am reminded of a story which I wanted to share, if you don't mind.
Sure, sir.
See, it is it's an incident which has happened in Prashanti Nilayam.
Okay.
You see, it has been narrated by Radio Sai, in one of the study circles, which has happened. See, there was celebrations going on in those days, it's good old days in Prashanti Nilayam. And, what happened, it was, there was, as usual, there were some volunteers on duty and all that. And they found suddenly the sewerage, sewerage got blocked. And the sewerage water, there was no, at that time, there was not so much of sewerage lines, and there was so much of water supply and all that. There were limitations. So this sewerage all started coming out, the overflowing. And all the devotees came running, the staff, everybody, thinking of what is to be done. It is how to unblock the sewerage. It was only one way. They could just some said we will use the bamboo stake and all that. You see, and you see there was one Orissa Sevadal who was on duty. He was just watching. He suddenly jumped into the sewerage line. Actually jumped. And he went down the drain, manually used his hand to clear the line. The sewerage line was cleared by him manually. And the Sevadal, he came out with a lot of mud and everything, dirt on him. He went, took his bath. He came back, had a shower, and again was back on duty. He had never had the second thoughts about his duty. This is something on duty, which this story, this incident, I was perplexed, how, he never had the second thoughts about duty. And the most important here is to the duty to our beloved Swami, you see. Yes. Sevadar considered everything as God's work, you see. And the best part now is yet to come. You see, as you are aware, those days, Swami used to come to the Sevadals in the last day, he'll come and he'll give the Pada. On that particular day, Swami walked straight to this Orissa, the Sevadal workers. He went straight. He told him, this person will not have another birth.
Yes.
Something, how Swami rewards immediately. You are saying, surrender, duty, and divine's grace is showered. You see, exactly what happens is when you do the duty, grace just like that showers.
Yes.
Something, I wanted to really share with you about this amazing duty of the Sevadal. And it was
that too, as a pure, as you told, it is for Swami only he did. He didn't want to gain any, a kind of name or something.
Absolutely.
He was selfless in his duty.
He comes back and starts doing his duty.
Yes.
Unassuming duty again.
Exactly, as if nothing happened.
As if nothing happened. Your Swami, you remember, Swami talks about, when coming to question of duty, you remember Swami talks of these 4 F's, I don't, you remember, he says, follow the master, face the devil, fight to the end, and finish the game. You remember the 4 F's. So this sense of duty is something amazing. So Swami's way of teaching us, 4 F's, easy to remember. You'll never forget the FF or 4 F's. Like this Swami's way, each time you read, as you said, Suman, I get beautiful insights. Thank you again, from the bottom of my heart. And all as Sridhar always says, we are blessed to be a part of the Sai family. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. When I'm reminded of Dr. Bhatt, who used to be urologist in super specialty hospital in Parthi. They were not devotees actually, but they were devoted to duty. They were actually working in, St. Philomena's, in Bangalore. And they were devoted to their work. Both he and his wife, both were doctors. And Swami handpicked them up for as a urologist for his hospital. He himself somehow behind them, he convinced them. They were not ready to leave their jobs. They were they were working in Victoria. They were working in, in Philomena's and all that. But Swami himself went, and because of their devotion to duty, you're duty minded, you are so much devoted to duty. I want you. So when we are devoted to duty, I think, he will follow us. We need not follow him. He will only follow us.
Absolutely. Absolutely so.
Ravi Shankar, sir? Any insights, any observations, stories, or thoughts, questions, anything?
Sairam,
Sairams.
the only observation is I have been observing the whole satsang very happily. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Any particular thing you felt somewhere it struck the chord?
Lots.
See this, sir? Any insights or?
Sairam.
Sairams.
Firstly, my apologies for joining late. I had no driver and I had to drive my car and I was stuck in a traffic.
It's okay. It's okay, sir. No
Sincere
problem.
apologies. I felt like kicking myself. Um, um, I don't know where to pick and say, but fantastic presentation of this beautiful Bhagavatam chapter. Um, what I did not know and came to know of today is this omni facility.
Yeah. Felicity. Omni felicity.
Sorry, felicity. I mispronounced. Similarly, that when Pandavas are totally surrendered everything to the Lord Krishna, it is intelligent profiteering is again a very nice way of looking at it. In fact, it is so true. In Purna Chandra Hall, Swami was distributing goodies to students, and each one of them came, received whatever they got, and they were looking at it and lost in that material objects. And Swami made a comment, each one of you are engrossed with what gift you got. You simply forgot me. And there he sent a message that the sincere spiritual seeker asks for God himself. When you have God by your side, you have everything. Yeah, it is really intelligent profiteering to totally surrender. Towards the end, you said in spirituality, losing is winning. It's a very powerful message. The Pasupatha-astra which he gained in the course of this episode, which you described in such great detail. Yeah, he lost to the hunter, and that losing was winning because he remembered at the appropriate time that it was all Krishna's way of creating his grace for him.
Yes.
And that constant integrated awareness as a concept which you have indirectly explained. Oftentimes we miss to remember that every challenge of life, every difficult situation is actually, you beautifully expressed in another word, that it is differently packaged.
Yeah.
It's actually so true, but seldom do we realize. And yeah, I also tend to get this uh, learning in deeper comprehension, in the sense when Swami used to render his divine discourses, a hall full of people engrossed and listening to him. Some of them know the Telugu language, some of them could follow the translation, but some of them could not yet. Each one of them did have some message coming into them directly, one to many, but that is one of the things which you touched upon. And so the in the spiritual world, in the divine mechanism, Swami has his own way of reaching to each one of us. And every time, particularly the 1996 years discourses during the June-July period, Each one of them, when you reread again and again, you get more and more insights. And so I can't agree any less with you that, every time we look into this epics, the mythologies, the stories, it depends upon what is the degree of our being evolved to perceive certain deeper truths than the apparent storyline behind the entire episodes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and you were touching upon that NTR's attitude of why he could do all roles very well was because he could be compassionate even with the roles of the characters of Ravana or Duryodhana, and after
Yeah.
all, they were not bad people,
Hmm.
and they had one specific weakness which was dominant and which brought them to they befall their destiny. But in the same time, for us to label them is wrong. Instead, to reflect that back into us to see whether we have that and we can eliminate is all spiritual learning about. Uh,
Yes, yes.
and that is, and then if if Swami's grace is there, it happens. If Anugraha is there, no graha can disturb. Was a deep learning. Thoroughly enjoyed. Particularly, you were mentioning about the constant integrated awareness and uh, the example of also Hanuman, why he was able to fly high because of the dasa form of bhakti.
Devotion. Yeah.
Towards devotion to Ram is more than his own identity by his own skill sets. They are all only means and not an end, and the end is Ram himself. Thoroughly enjoyed. I don't know how time flies when you render your presentation. I am your fan, Suman. God
Thank you,
bless
sir.
you. Sai Ram.
Thank you. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Even sometimes, as in constant integrated awareness only, when we talk about, no, especially these great bhaktas like Tyagaraja, Mirabai, who consistently, they used to attribute everything as His grace. Now, as I told, when something is itching on their body and they used to, scratch with the nails also. Oh, compassionate one, you gave nails. So to clear this kind of predicament, to clear from this kind of pain, you gave us. So in small things also, they found His grace. But for
An
us,
ex-
normally, certain things, if we are able to manage, we think we give attribute or intellect. Just like here, he thought, Arjuna thought, okay, he can manage this hunter, this, worthless guy. I can manage him with my skills, he thought. But ultimately, when he came to know what it is, he was like, he was just actually, blood was oozing from him. So also, we also think, small, okay, this fever, cough and all I can manage. Now, when it comes to bigger things, I'll pray for Swami. No, small things we can manage. Some big losses, I can pray for him. Small, I think with my intelligence, I can work out. That is again also, an outcome of ego. So do our duty in the back of mind, everything is he. Whatever I'm doing, I'm able to do this small thing or big thing. It just like Hanuman, whether he did a small thing or whether he did a big, whatever the magnitude of his acts are, he always felt as he is Rama's dasa. So that mostly we generally falter at that point. Small things, yeah, I can manage it, I can do it. That time we don't even praise Swami. Okay, I can manage. Just like Gajendra, he fought and fought. Finally, when he gave up, then he had to come. So like that, we also need to just look at those aspects within us to correct ourselves.
I comprehend constant integrated awareness in one way.
Okay.
I wish to hear from you whether I am right or wrong. Um, Many times, when things go well, we forget to express our gratitude to the divine.
Yes.
when things go wrong, why have you done this to me? Happens. But if as a part of spiritual practice, as a part of our personal evolution, if we can include Swami in everything, that is, start the day with Swami, end the day with Swami. Like sugar being added to the beverage only enhances its quality. The thought of Swami in us as an Antaryami guiding force, then perhaps it galvanizes the negative things from being affected. Then it's CIA works. Swami is there. It must be for my good. Perhaps there is some message in it. Can I look at it differently? Somebody coming and irritating you in a traffic jam. Suddenly you remember, could be Swami. Who knows? At least let me be polite. Even if I cannot help, let me bless him from inside. So these kind of attitudes come only when we actually evolve with this practice, spiritual practice of constant integrated awareness. That is, you don't think of Swami by exception, think of Swami in the normal course so that you never lose sight of anchoring with him.
Correct.
Side ups.
Beautiful, Sridhar, as usual. So I just have something else to add. Is there time, Suman?
Yes, sir. Please.
Now, you see, this. I was just thinking, what exactly is the lesson we learn from this this particular incident? You see, just trying to share my thoughts. You see, there are two things which I thought. One is a lesson to Arjuna. You see, what is a lesson to Arjuna? To take care of his ego. This is what was a lesson taught to Arjuna. Now, what was Lord Shiva trying to do? Lord Shiva was trying to find out whether the person whom this Pasupatha-astra is being used, it has to be used judiciously, otherwise it will destroy the whole thing, whether Arjuna is really deserving for protection of the dharma, whether he can do it or not. This is what, from the aspect of Shiva, these are the two lessons I thought, it's the insight what we get. Your views on this, Suman?
Yes, sir. True. What you told is absolutely true. God will try to put us to all trials and tribulations till we become better and deserving for that particular thing. We may be aspiring things, but immediately He won't give us. He would keep us. He would test us many ways. He would try to remove all those bad qualities. And finally, when we actually acknowledge, this is my fault. This is where my shortcomings were. This is where I falter. And when we weed out those qualities, automatically He'll shower grace on us. That's what Swami always does. Absolutely true. What you told is absolutely
true. Silence.
Sairam Suman.
Yeah, Ravishek, please tell me.
You were asking what anything touched me out of this talk. So, what I felt was, of course, a very, very simple, small thing. I liked, what you said about this too shall pass when we are in difficulties. But you also given us an indirect, a direct warning saying, in happiness also we should remember that this too shall pass.
Yes.
That is where I think we never think of. And when we are in difficulties, of course, we try to bank on these, faith that this will not be there for a long time. I like that caution where we need to be stable in all occasions. That was very nicely put. And and the other thing was, even Sridhar sir said, labeling of individuals like Duryodhana, of envy or Ravana due to lust and such desires. What Swami said was, at least they had only one bad quality. We all have all the six. That is a big shocker, which we need to think, and I think we need to, at least I need to feel ashamed of. Yeah. Thanks, Suman. Very enlightening. I've not been able to join your talks for a long time, but whenever I do join, of course, it is full of richness and a lot of messages on that. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, I'm posting these days on YouTube, so you can listen anytime.
Yes, yes. Yeah. In fact, actually, when your talk started, I don't know, for some reason, I was watching the earlier talk.
Okay.
Then I thought, and I was also thinking I'll maybe watch the YouTube link later, but then somehow it prompted me to immediately get into this. So I also got delayed on that. Sairam.
As you rightly said, yeah, both good times also pass and bad times also pass. How to look at, I mean, some wonderful example earlier I even told, some concrete example, more practical was. So when we start our journey to Parthi from Bangalore, we have good roads also, bad roads also. So good roads, we enjoy the journey, but we just don't get down there and stay there only. We just move on. So as a bad roads, yeah, we don't even cry there. We also, those also are passing. Ultimately, our focus is on Swami. We reach Parthi. So that is how focus should be on him. These will be like passing roads. Roads will pass, good roads, bad roads, whatever. Enjoy them, whatever.
Correct. Very true. Thank you.
Thank you.
Swami also had pointed out in some time, our life is like a pendulum. It will swing from one end to another. And pleasure is an interval between two pains, and pain is an interval between two pleasures. But life is a package of both, and being equanimous to that is what the evolution of spiritual journey is all about.
Yes.
I know.
It's a gradual process, but
Yes.
yeah.
That is why, sir, I remember this illustration. The mango has, as a raw mango, has its own features, and as it ripens, the color changes, the sweetness emerges, and things like that. As we evolve through these beautiful satsangs, you ripen internally, and you are able to, many things get revealed which otherwise were obvious, but we could not see.
Correct. Absolutely. And the fun is when we implement it, and the true fun will actually, witness. When we implement, to take up whatever little and try to see in our own life. As Swami said, Bahiranga Parikshana, you need to test it, whatever it is said, you need to test in life. I think that's when it's more joy than listening also. When it gives fruits, when implementation, I think that gives a different kind of fun altogether. Thank you. Any more thoughts or insights before closing?
I liked one sentence of yours, if you don't mind.
Sure, sir.
You say, grace is differently packaged. You mentioned that sentence. Absolutely, I love that sentence. Grace, it comes in different forms, differently packaged. Lovely. That sentence again, I'll never forget that sentence.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Thank
you. Actually, it's a very pointed expression that whatever comes from the divine can only be grace and nothing else.
Yes.
And the differently packaged grace is required to transform us. That's why I fully agree with Amar sir. It's a fantastic expression.
Correct. Even here, gracing of Shiva and Parvati, gracing Arjuna is also differently packaged, in a kind of war. The grace they could have appeared and given the Pasupatha-astra, but they tried to wage it differently. So it's for his own good again. Amazing. Thank you all for today's evening and patient listening to the satsang. We close today this satsang with Asatoma. asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritangamaya. Om Shanti 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 Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय.
Jai.
Thank you.
Sairam Amarnath sir, Sairam Sridhar sir.
Sairam Ravi
Sai
sir.
Ram.
Sairam
Ravi
Amar
sir, I thought when you said it touched me a lot of places.
Come on,
Okay.
sir. I am a weakling in all these things. Lots to learn and implement.
They're very happy to have you here, sir, in the satsang.
Sir, it's my good fortune, I would say. Mahesh sir actually once told me when I was not coming to this satsangs, he was saying, you should be there, Ravi. Believe me, Swami is there. This is exactly what he said.
Surely. Sairam.
Sairam.
Sairam. Sairam Suman. Thank you.
Sairam.
Sairam.